When's the next video coming out? When it's out, will you do a video on these things? Maybe? I don't know. We'll see. What is your favorite? These things. What are my thoughts on these things? It's all either good or meh. Could you choose between these things? Not really. They all seem fine to me. Can you do any of these things with San Juan Branch Line, and when's the next episode coming out? Unfortunately, San Juan Branch Line has been cancelled. Me and Jonathan simply lost the drive to keep investing time into it and have moved on to doing new things. John is now leading Yard Goat Images and is selling DVDs and Blu-rays through them, which includes the reintroduced and remastered catalog of Berkshire Productions. You can support his work through the link in the description. What's the status for Full Steam Ahead? Let me check real quick. Yeah, that's gonna be a while, so let's move on. Will you add this character? Moving on! What do you use for video making? Games are either Trains, currently TRS 19, or Railworks, now Train Simulator Classic. Editing is with Vegas, and screen capture is Bandicam. How did you come up with the channel name? As I explained previously, I pulled out an old train book by Lucius Beebe, looked up some of the terms that were posted, and asked some of my friends which ones looked and sounded the best. High Iron was the one that won out in the end. How come you're so popular? That's a weird one. I would think that the mistakes that keep popping up in my editorials would make me very unpopular. Still figuring this one out, honestly. If you had the opportunity to do another crossover, what would it be? Not sure. Is it me, or is my series the only one where the trains don't talk? Do you have any current plans to do a locomotive preservation what-if video? No. Will you ever do rail fitting videos on High Iron? Not really. I have Dynamo for that. Do you mainly do YouTube? Yes. Sometimes I wish I did Vimeo, but monetization doesn't work the same as it does here. How do you narrow down which topic you want to make a video about? It basically comes down to three things. Does it exist in a simulator? Are there pictures or film of it in the public domain? And is there anything that I could film in real life? If push came to shove, I could make the whole editorial in a simulator. Didn't you used to voice Jimmy and Larry in the Full Buccaneers? Yeah, we were so young. Will you ever think about finding the Full Buccaneers on YouTube by typing the name and see if they're back? Not really. I've got better things to be doing. Has High Iron considered doing collaboration with other creators or brands to release content of operations farther from the channel's main region? That would be cool. Do you plan on doing a second channel for gaming? Honestly, I could see myself doing that. We'll see what happens. Can you show us more of your routes for trains? If I had time, sure. Do you prefer steam or diesel? Either's fine, depends on the conditions. Do you collect model trains? Yes. Will you do videos on model trains? I could. Do you like British locomotives and railways? Yes. Cabooses or caboose? Cabooses. What is your opinion on the top state for railroad clubs? Don't know. Do you plan to see Reading and Northern 2102? Yes, but I'm not going to put my life in danger by chasing it. What got you into 576? Simple. Me and it are from the same place. How's the restoration of 576 going, and when is she expected to be complete? I'm sure you can ask Nashville Steam themselves. They have their own channel, link in the description. If there was another NC and St. L steam locomotive that could be preserved alongside 576, what would you have chosen? Realistically, the only other engine that would have qualified would have been 280 number 406, which made its last run 5 months after the 484 was withdrawn. A Mikado or Pacific would have been nice though. Do you like Thomas and Friends? I'm okay with it. I like watching the videos by the Unlucky Tug and Surgery and Afro, but my interest doesn't extend beyond that. Will you do a video of the Flying Scotsman USA tour? I did one video on a segment of the tour, does that count? But in all seriousness, no. Unlucky Tug already made one, he did a great job with it, and there's nothing more for me to add. If you had to choose an American 440, which one and why? Northern Central's York. Also, shameless plug, me and Everett are doing a photo charter with this engine in November. Come and join us. What was the very first real-world steam engine you've ever heard of? First one I learned anything about was probably Nevada Northern 40, because of the VHS made by Skyfire back in the 90s. Which Durango and Silverton or Cumbres and Toltec Steam Star is your favorite? I don't know, they're all the same to me. The San Juan K&L episode is labeled as episode 1. Was it intended to be a series at one point? No. Pretty sure that was made clear at the end of that video. Did you know 3751 might be coming back? Yes. What do you think freight railroading will look like in the next 10 years? That depends on how it survives the next 10 days. What are your honest thoughts and opinions of precision scheduled railroading? Wasn't sure what to make of it when they first came to CSX, but I think we can all see the evidence now. Do you ever think mainline steam will ever come back as a whole, or is it done for the foreseeable future? It'd be great if Amtrak became supportive again, but I'm not holding my breath. Mainline steam's best bet for now would be with commuter rail, as demonstrated by Metra with the 765 and 1003, and Metrolink with 3751. What retired excursion star would you bring back to steam? Given today's operating climate, I would say Clinchfield Railroad #1. What are you most excited about in this hobby? Usually, a new restoration announcement, which comes out every month or two, whether it's rolling stock or a facility. Out of all the steam locomotives you and the team have photographed and caught on video over the years, which one has been the most exciting to see? The one I'll film next. How many operational steam locomotives have you seen in person? As of recording, 89. It might be different by the time you watch this. If you could privately own a locomotive, would you do it? If so, what kind of steam diesel engine would it be? I'm not sure if I could do that single-handedly. If I was the sole owner of such a machine, that means I'm responsible for its maintenance and upkeep, and I'd be footing the bill for any and all associated costs, which adds up. If push came to shove, I could see myself networking with museums and tourist railroads to see if they'd be willing to take in my acquisition, then acquire an engine, say a -7 or an 8, just to save it from scrap, and then immediately donate the engine to the winning group so it can live happily ever after. If there was going to be another new build steam locomotive trust, which locomotive would be the best candidate? For the main line, first choice is blatantly obvious. Second would be the Milwaukee Road Class A Atlantic. Both would be well suited for moving heavy trains at high speeds, but still small enough to economically navigate regionals and tourist railroads. If I had to pick something exclusively for tourist railroads though, a 10-wheeler of some description, either Rogers for the east or a Harriman Common Standard for the west. Do you prefer big, powerful but slow moving, or smaller, less powerful but much faster? From a logistical standpoint, the smaller and speedier. Do you like the AC44 C6Ms? I'm alright with them. Have you heard of Rolling Line? Yes. What kind of job would you like to have in the rail industry? One where I'd help define their public image. What do you do as a day job besides YouTube? This is my day job, but that may be changing soon. I'll keep you all posted. Which locomotives should you think be preserved? We'd like to see more -8s and 9s getting saved. We have an AC 6000 in preservation, so it's not like they're ahead of their time or anything. Whatever happened to Steam Against the Current? Do you have any plans to finish it? I would like to see that through, but it would involve tons more effort than the teaser that was released back in 2019. Have you ever had an interest other than trains? I've always liked traveling and sightseeing. Filmmaking is something I've always been fascinated by, along with history and music. If I had to choose what part of California I would want to live in, why? I've always preferred NorCal, but given how much of the state is prone to catching fire, I'm not sure if living anywhere in there is good for me. Have you ever been to Missouri? Yes. Do you like the beach? I'm alright with it. Have you ever been in a major flood or flood zone? Thankfully, no, but I know people who have been through it. It's pretty savage. If you could live in any part of the world, in any time period for at least 1 week, when or where would you go? Somewhere along the Hudson River in New York, maybe Peekskill, sometime in the mid to late 1930s. Have you seen any movies made in Australia? If you have, what's your favorite? It's been ages since I've last seen something from there, so I can't remember. I will say that last May, though, I got to see Randy Feltface doing live stand-up in Louisville, and man, that was just so good. What is your favorite car? These days it's just whatever I'm renting. Why don't you do your own top 10 list of favorite steam engines? Okay. Alright, and that does it for part 1 of this Q&A video. Everett will be here for the second half, where we'll tackle the remainder of your questions. Until then, See you all in part 2.